Three challenges shape public relations today: rapid AI transformation, fewer early career opportunities as entry-level tasks become automated, and a leadership gap where women make up the workforce, but not top roles. Imagine visiting a future where these problems have been successfully addressed. What lessons would we bring back?
When the movie Back to the Future first arrived in theaters, it did more than give us a DeLorean and a lightning strike. It gave us a question disguised as entertainment, a question that sits inside every grown-up who has ever looked at their younger self and sighed. Marty McFly did not ask to travel in time. He only wanted to survive adolescence. And when he stepped out of that car into 1955, he found himself standing inside a lesson no one escapes. What if the future could explain the present? What if tomorrow's clarity could reach back and tap us on the shoulder today? Because in that story, Marty does not just pick up clues about his parents. He returns home seeing them differently, quicker to understand their fears, gentler with their choices, wiser about his own. It was not his trip to the past that changed him. It was the way the future reframed everything he thought he already knew. And there is a quiet power in that idea. If we could stand inside tomorrow for even a few minutes, perhaps we would see which habits to keep and which ones are quietly tugging us off course. Today on Stories and Strategies. Great Scott! Testing, 1, 2, 3. Mic levels are good. You nervous?
Well, if you mean by nervous, rereading the waiver 3 times, then yeah, I'm nervous. I don't usually sign anything with a paragraph titled Unforeseen Temporal Turbulence.
You always get dramatic before a big moment. You know, it's not danger, Doug. It's data with a dash of hope for humanity. Now here, we need to wear these sensory alignment glasses. Here you go. They help prepare the visual cortex for layered environments. Messages aren't quite the same in 2035. There are different layers.
That sounds like a setup for a migraine.
Now, remember what they told us. In 2035, you will see more than one kind of message at once. Some are physical, some are ambient signals, some are holographic or mixed reality reflections, and yes, a few are still technically VR, just woven into everyday space. Now, the glasses are going to help your brain sort them instead of crashing into all of it raw.
So future-proof bifocals.
Think of them as training wheels for whatever we step into.
Sure beats going to another boring conference with the same old presentations. Though honestly, I keep wondering what we're going to learn.
They call it a guided time crossing. Think of it as research meets time travel. And once we go, we'll step into the real 2035. Data you can literally breathe.
Yeah, so not just visuals. I mean, we are going. Temperature, air pressure, social noise.
Exactly. We're not sampling the future, Doug. We're going to be standing in it.
So we might land in a world where Taylor Swift is oldies. I'm not emotionally prepared for that.
Maybe Dwayne Johnson is president.
Maybe we'll finally get to smell what the president's been cooking.
Here's what we're really after. 1, how technology has reshaped PR. 2, whether AI made it harder for young people to break in. And 3, if women finally have more seats in the C-suite, because these are the things we can start building now before the wave hits.
Amen. Okay, 3 good reasons. And as much as I pretend to resist change, I would rather see it coming than trip over it.
Initiating synchronization sequence. Subjects, hold still.
There's always a hold still right before history happens.
And you always talk through it.
Temporal anchor secured. Arrival confirmed in the year 2035.
Farzana.
I see it. That smell. Metallic? Like the city itself is exhaling technology.
My glasses just pulsed. Did yours?
Yes, they're adjusting to whatever signals are embedded here. Could be environmental data or those layered messages I mentioned.
Great. So the future announces itself by flickering in my face.
We used to talk about smart cities. This isn't smart, it's sentient by design.
I've spent 30 years telling other people how stories travel. The first breath here told me mine might be out of date. The air hummed, the light looked edited, and I had that familiar tug in my chest, the one that says, you're not in charge of this moment. You're just in it.
The skyline. Every tower wrapped in light. But it's silent.
It's not glass. It's data. And listen, there's no honking. There's no engines rumbling.
The cars. Are they even making any noise?
Welcome to 2035. Dog, Farzana. My name's David.
You're a projection?
Well, a holo relay, yes. My physical body is in Lagos, Nigeria.
So you're not actually standing here right now?
Well, no. This is my first time chaperoning guests from the past, and my first time doing it as a light cast. Please forgive my flickering. I'm still learning how to stand still when I'm made of photons.
We're honored you crossed time and bandwidth for us.
Well, happy to do it. Our institute tries to distribute opportunities across regions now. Holographic roles mean big projects aren't limited to people based in the US or UK anymore. It keeps the work global, the way it should have been long before 2035. Now, shall we begin?
I have to ask you, the cars move like they're breathing. No braking, no hesitation.
Well, that's because you're in downtown core. Human-driven vehicles are not allowed here anymore. Too many mixed traffic collisions in the late 2020s. Downtown districts switched to fully autonomous fleets a few years ago.
These vehicles, they glide straight through intersections. Where are the traffic lights?
Well, most of them were removed. Downtown relies on a coordinated grid. Mass transit and driverless vehicles negotiate movement automatically. It keeps the center quieter and cuts congestion, but not everyone is thrilled about it.
So outside the core, everything is still human-driven?
Not quite. Vehicle ownership in major cities is dropped to about 50%, but once you leave the metropolitan area, it jumps back up to 80%. And out of there, the old infrastructure is still in full use. Taxi associations, courier drivers, regional transport unions, many of them oppose the downtown automation mandate. Some are still very upset, you know.
So the calm is curated, beautiful on the surface, but underneath, the usual human noise, just quieter.
That's a very honest version of it. Come, I'll project ahead of you. There is much more I should show you.
David, what are those flickers at the edge of my vision?
That happens when you're not wearing meta glasses. The plaza is filled with low-grade mixed reality overlays.
Okay, but we are wearing glasses. Shouldn't they clean up the shimmer?
Yours aren't tuned to our local systems. They help you perceive layered signals, but they don't interpret our overlays. So you're seeing fragments, pieces of what's meant to be complete.
So some of what we're seeing might be partial?
Partial or perfectly accurate. Hard to tell, without a sync to the city grid. Lagos moved to a similar grid last year, still finding its rhythm. Holograms stumble through the overlays sometimes. The city likes to tease us.
And those floating shapes, are they ads?
Well, we call them holographic briefs. Think of it as what came after VR and AR. Each one of these is personalized to whomever walks by.
Personalized persuasion, the marketer's dream. The regulator's nightmare, though.
So personalized. What does mine say?
Welcome back, human.
Charming.
That is the default greeting when the system cannot match you to a profile. It assumes you are a returning visitor with wiped preferences. It is meant to sound friendly, slightly odd, but friendly. You arrive here with no identity markers in the grid, so it gave you the baseline message.
Does everybody get a greeting?
Yes, though most people mute them, information fatigue is regulated now.
Regulated how?
There is a limit on unsolicited stimuli. If a sender exceeds it, they pay an attention fine.
Oh, wow. So instead of drowning people in noise, you just cap the noise. That actually sounds like progress.
That's really the idea, dog.
Even the walls look alive.
It's a solar film and adaptive lighting. It keeps buildings calmer for people inside.
He says that like it's normal.
Well, Gallagher's waiting in the main briefing room. He runs proof of truth.
In my late 40s, I had made a career on persuasion with conscience. In this building, conscience had a floor plan. And as we walked down that bright hallway, I felt something I had not felt in years. I felt small, but in the best possible way.
Well, hey, this is one of our monitoring rooms. My visitor friends from the past, you're going to love this. It's quiet, like on most days, but that's how we know it's working. So I suppose I should tell you a little bit about who I was 10 years ago, back in 2025. I was, like you, a senior director in corporate communications. And as you know, back then, or back now for you, that job was a lot like juggling chainsaws. It was fast, it was furious, and really we didn't have anything to rely on but our own intuition. Wasn't much process, and there was no structure.
I remember those chainsaws.
Gallagher, from your perspective, what's changed most since our time?
That's a great question. I guess the first thing you're going to notice is the quiet. Cities feel calmer, less engine noise. People move through the day just a lot differently. Most people don't own vehicles in the city anymore. You just order one when you need it. No steering wheels, no traffic lights. Everything just negotiates itself. And the work, well, in 2025, we were fighting fires. 2035, we spend more time preventing them, using truth, structure, and a little more humility than our field used to expect.
You sound steadier than I remember senior leaders ever being in 2025.
Well, thanks. I had to be. The younger staff forced us to be better. They asked questions our generation didn't really want to ask out loud. We thought our experience should speak for itself, and it should, but only when we give everyone a chance to be heard and to think.
Gallagher, can you come to Bay 2? We've got a small hologram slip on the city feed. False charity endorsement. I am running the trace.
Oh dear, I'm away. Please excuse me.
She sounds young.
Young and grounded. That combination is rare in 2025.
Yeah.
Usually we get one or the other.
Patched. The source was a misaligned avatar setting. No malicious intent. I'm restoring the authentic tag now.
Was that the city glitching, Farzana, or our glasses again?
Let's hope it's the city. If it's the glasses, we're experiencing the future through a cracked window.
Splendid work, Emily.
Thank you. Hello. You must be the visitors.
We are, and you must be Emily.
Yes. I started 6 weeks ago. Still getting used to being in a building where someone from 2025 might walk past the coffee machine.
Emily, what did you study to get into this field? I mean, you sound incredibly prepared.
Communications. Same as you 10 years ago. But I was 14 in 2025. I remember the way everyone talked about AI, like it was magic and doom at the same time. By the time I reached post-secondary school, the programs shifted. I studied behavioral sciences because understanding how people react matters more than ever. And I trained as a prompt engineer, not just asking questions, but guiding systems to understand human nuance.
So entry-level PR has evolved from crafting messages to decoding meaning. Less copywriting, more conscience.
No, it's more like being a bridge. AI drafts material, but we guide tone. We watch for bias, we spot emotional pressure, we keep it human.
We feel like AI is going to make it harder for young people to get jobs. Is that what's happening?
Different, not harder. There is pressure, but there is also more clarity and better support.
Yeah, young professionals now do a lot fewer repetitive tasks and more judgment work, which means that we more senior people need to really give them true mentorship, actual structure, and breathing room. Otherwise, the system becomes efficient, but a little less humane.
I used to think younger staff needed to push through clutter to earn their space. Standing there beside Emily, I realized some of that clutter was just tradition, pretending to be wisdom.
Gallagher, earlier you mentioned representation programs. Are women moving into leadership more easily now?
Some progress, yeah, but not nearly enough. Ratios are better than 10 years ago, but they're still not balanced. And when you look closer, the gaps show patterns that we really used to ignore. African American men, LGBTQ communicators, people from outside established schools. Those voices are really still missing from most of the decision rooms.
From what Gallagher tells me, companies tried to fix everything at once. They pushed hard, sometimes too hard. Young women felt squeezed between being excellent, being mentors, and being symbols.
Ah, so the numbers moved, but not evenly.
That's exactly right, Doug. Smaller steps did work better. Transparency helped. Now we publish leadership parity scores beside transparency scores. If your board does not match your messaging on equity, the signal goes red. If we'd slowed down 10 years ago and built real pathways instead of just symbolic programs, we might have avoided the fatigue people still feel today when equity becomes theater instead of structure.
Gallagher, let me ask you something awkward. What about woke? Is everything just more woke now? Because I'm not sure I would really like that, to be honest.
Good question, Doug. No, people didn't suddenly agree on values. That never happens. Some did become more aware, while others became more resistant. The difference is we stopped treating it like a culture war and started treating it like an honesty check. So if you claim to stand for something, your structure should show it. If it doesn't, people are definitely going to know, and they're going to respond accordingly. Values don't update like software. Some people change, others don't.
That feels uncomfortably honest.
It's the only kind that lasts, Farzana.
I've spent my career telling women to take their seat at the table. But here, in 2035, they've stopped pretending the seat weighs the same for everyone. When women claim their place, they often carry extra weight. The pressure to represent, to mentor, to model perfection. In 2025, I treated that weight as normal. But here, they name it, they measure it, they fix it.
Your window is open, guys. Only a few minutes remain. I'll stay linked in from Lagos until you're through. Go safely.
Thank you. I might forget the details, but not the feeling.
You know what, Farzana, just take back what's useful and leave the heavy stuff behind.
And tell your students someday, be precise, be kind, and do not let the machine do all the listening.
Okay, if you could give us one more last insight, what would that be?
Well, I think I should probably help you understand why we speak the way we do here in 2035. Back in 2031, we went through something that we're now calling the quiet blackout. At first, we thought it was an attack of some sort, but it turns out there weren't any hackers, there wasn't any big conspiracy, just a number of small AI-generated errors drifting into the official information system everywhere, all at once. So, a school notice with the wrong date, a transit advisory shifted by just a few words, a storm alert phrased in a way that changed the urgency. So it wasn't a single mistake that set off alarms, but a whole passel of them. They caused departments to work from conflicting versions of the truth. When leaders realized that they couldn't trust their own data, everything stopped, literally. The public grew furious and demanded answers that no one could actually give because there was no one bad actor to point to.
No villain. If the crisis had no villain, who did the public blame?
They blamed everyone, the platforms, the government. Political parties blamed one another, the media, even the engineers who warned about data drift years earlier. When the truth feels unstable, people reach for the nearest target. We learned that the hard way. The clarity must be built, not just assumed.
Wow.
Everything looks washed out now, like someone flattened the colors while we were gone.
Mine fluttered when we crossed back, almost like they wanted to hold on to something we left behind. Strange. How long were we gone?
Like no time at all. I think we really did travel, didn't we? Like that wasn't just a layered projection.
If it was a projection, it knew us well enough to feel real. And sometimes that's the part that matters more. We have work to do, so let's write this down before it fades away. Parity scores, truth friction, and one sacred rule. Every algorithm reports to someone with a heartbeat.
Yeah. And maybe we stop leaning on those customer and stakeholder journeys that we keep selling. All those soft metaphors that smooth over the hard parts. Fewer journeys, more honesty. Even if that means a few awkward conversations, more repair. That's what I'm taking home.
And before we forget, 2 warnings, Doc, that we have to capture. The quiet blackout, that slow drift of tiny AI errors that piled up until no one trusts their own data. We could start strengthening verification layers now, before we repeat that mess.
And the fatigue around symbolic diversity programs. They tried to fix everything all at once, remember? I think Emily was saying. They ended up exhausting the people they were trying to lift. We can build real pathways now, not just messaging. We don't have to wait 10 years to learn that.
Amen. And if anyone asks what we learned, I'm telling them the future has better manners than we expected. Maybe the future isn't a warning at all. Maybe it's a rehearsal, a reminder that the story of truth still needs human editors.
And maybe to stop using authentic in every brief.